The youth, I think, are historically and politically, as well as socially, misinformed. And they are, in a very significant way, they are detached from reality because of social media, because of our celebrity culture. That is where they align themselves. Our youth spends almost a R1 trillion a year on hair and beauty, and we spend about just under R1 billion on books and education, and I'm talking all types of books. So in that sense, I think we are, in terms of youth vote in terms of the celebrity status of whoever it is they're going to be voting for. That's what I believe. We are not considering the enormity of the situation facing South Africa. What we want to do is we want to have a World Cup moment where we hold up the cup of election victory and say we won, it's a time for change and so on. There is no rational thinking person in this country, and I'm talking about democracies across the world now, who can reasonably sit and think that voting will change anything. Democracy means nothing once a corporation decides that this is what a government will do. Hard lockdowns, mandates. Democracy ends once the voting is done. I'm not saying people should not vote. When I go and I vote, it's like choosing between dog dung and pig dung. But one of those two delicacies is going to end up on my sandwich. Doesn't matter who I vote for. Young people should approach this, well, I mean, it's a bit late now because it's in the election year already, but young people should inform themselves about the actual restrictions of democracy. And by restrictions of democracy, I mean what has been signed in 1994. What were those deals that were signed that restrict us, managed to popularize apartheid? They have democratized apartheid, and they have used the same apartheid bureaucratic structures and just populated it with ANC type people. And what they haven't removed apartheid bureaucracy, they've expanded it and bolstered it. And without thinking that those are the very structures that were built and designed to restrict people in this country. And still, if you look at the system, yes, the system has to be challenged, most certainly. But as South Africans, we've been so fractured over 30 years into racial groups. Racism has never been as rife as it is in the new South Africa. Never ever in my growing up years have I felt as colored as I do in the new South Africa. I know now the significance of that racial grouping in the new South Africa, which I never knew in the apartheid system, because we fought against those categorizations. But now you fill in a form for ECPAC, Eastern Cape Provincial Arts and Culture Funding, National Art, whatever. You've got to tick that box. Then they've got a cheek to ask you how many black people are on your production team or whatever the case may be. How many black people will benefit? You sit and think, under apartheid I was black. I'm no longer black. So are we as South Africans ready to unite and accept the sacrifices that will be needed in order to challenge the system? On social media, you see people send these memes around. It's one of the reasons why I want to get off social media. But they send guys standing with billboards. I've got engineering degree, I've got this degree and whatever and whatever. Can somebody give me a job to work in the garden? This type of thing. Now, you cannot tell me that with potholes all over every city in this country, and water systems that are collapsing, and electricity systems that are collapsing, and health systems that are collapsing, and buildings that are falling to pieces, that we cannot have some sort of program for the youth, engineering youth, and whoever, to do the work. Job creation. There is job, and the ANC created the jobs through their neglect and self-service. They allowed these cities to collapse. You can't blame the National Party, because the National Party became part of the ANC. You know, so when we talk about the National Party, you talk National Party, ANC, it's the same thing. You know, Cort Brook is an ANC member. You know, the Minister of Sport now, or the Deputy Minister of Sport, is a former NP member. You know, and then you look at the bureaucratic system that I spoke about earlier. It's an NP bureaucratic system that the ANC just adopted.